I made the drive over to a coffee brewing place to see the unveiling of a grain mill. I'll explain. Before we were homesteading, I used to be involved with a local food and farm advocacy organization, a small nonprofit. I used to help them doing video production, and the executive director asked me if I would help them out, do some video for them today. This coffee roasting facility and business that I'm visiting here now, they have partnered with a grain importer to house this new grain mill that's coming in to process, I think, some ancient grains. So we'll go check it out.
I'm Sean Thompson Duffy. I come from more of like a culinary background, savory, not much of a baking background. Whenever I was coming up in like the culinary world, like, you know, the chef world, I started seeing like in-house baking, you know, bread programs and whatnot, and that really sparked my interest in bread. I started off, you know, just making a loaf of bread, and it just blew my mind. And then you go through your cycle of like using less white flour, taking out the commercial yeast, naturally leavening, do your starter, and then there's another evolution of, wow, there's actually freshly milled flour out there. Working with that, because it's a whole different beast, you really have to learn how to do it. The flavor on that is just incomparable to anything. You have to have a mill. That's just, you have to bake bread with freshly milled flour. It's non-negotiable in my mind. Whenever you're talking about stone milling, I had an Osti-roller stone mill, which is from Austria. They're made of composite stones. So these are natural granite stones, and these are far more superior in my opinion. New American Stone Mills, Andrew started building these things in Elmore Mountain Bread, and this is Vermont granite. There's 2 stones in here, and they're from a Vermont quarry. They're 750 pounds a piece. This is it's called the bed stone, and then the runner stone's up here. So the bed stone never moves; it stays stationary, whereas the runner stone is the thing. It's the runner, it moves. So that's a big misconception. Both of them are moving at the same time.
Is this important to local food, and if so, what impact does it have on it?
This is local food movement. This is very important, because so all your farmers that you come in contact with. So the Pullet is like heavy on grain, but it's really heavy on like only a few types of grain, right? And which is basically soft white wheat that is grown in a certain way that I don't really believe in. Like, you know, you have all these farmers with all this land. They can grow their grain, but they usually they just grow it just to practice that crop rotation, and then they just till it on the ground because they don't have a way of harvesting it, and then they definitely don't have a way of milling it into flour. So the reason I think this is important for local food is because I want these farmers that have that want to practice the crop rotations. Please do that. Like, grow an acre here, an acre there. Harvest it, we'll get it clean, and then we will mill it into flour for you. I will bake it. Well, I will use some to bake with, but then you can contract me to mill it, and then we can give it back to you, and you can sell it on your farm. You can use your internet sales and stuff like that just to keep it all on the farm. Landraised wheats, heritage grains, ancient grains, all that good stuff. They have much more flavor to them. And whenever I bake, I'm all about flavor first, and then the baking properties of the flour come into that. We're gonna start the flow of the grain before we get the stones going. So the stones are going now. I'm gonna bring the stones together so that the runner stone's gonna start lowering. As you can see, the flour is doing its thing. I'm going to turn up I'm going to increase the feed rate just a little bit. So if you flip over the stone, you'll see angles that are drilled, or not drilled, but like carved into the stones. So those are called furrows and lands. So the furrows are actually like the crevices that are cut into it, and that's the thing. That's what actually starts the cutting motion. And then the lands are like the flat surfaces, which starts to emulsify everything together. This is the whole grain chute right here. There's a little plate that you pull out, and the whole grain flour comes down. The finer it is, usually like the easier it is to work with. It's a much easier introduction for home bakers and stuff to work with. And if home bakers start using this flour, it's much better for the farmers because they're still growing more of it. And we can really like take our, the soil and the land can really come back to the, to the farmer instead of just being contracted out for other stuff. This grinds so fine that you have a lot of dust. So it's feeling much better now. And you can see like large chunks of bran, which is really nice. Then you can see the endosperm, which is really fantastic. Here's our flour. So obviously this is a soft white wheat, and stone milling this happens. So if you clump it, give it the clump test, you see how it sticks like that. That's because all the germ, the germ is very like oily. Consider it like the egg yolk. So this is like a very nutritious, oily, nutritionally dense flour right here. This is stone milling. This is like the beauty of stone milling right here. I mean, look at that. That's, I mean, it's incredible, really.
Sean, where can people go to learn more about what you're doing, find out about what's going on with the future of this program?
Culture Breads, if you just email me at culturebreds@gmail.com. I'll talk, any question, I'll talk your ear off about flour, bread, fermentation, and all that stuff. If people want, flour can be shipped, fairly easily and fairly inexpensive. I can mill it for you, depending on the orders. I can mill it that day if you got an order. And then the farmers can like distribute it that way. Or some of the grain that I'm having grown, same thing. Like say they want like, a certain flour. It will be milled that day, it will be shipped out that day. But yeah, culturebreads@gmail.com. We'll have like websites and all that stuff coming up as well whenever we get big time. So yeah.
Cool. Since I made the drive all the way over here, I thought I might as well check the butternut squash situation again at the organic grocery. On my way back from getting all this butternut squash, my customer who was local tried to get her meat from the butcher, was unsuccessful. She tried calling him, he wasn't there, that sort of thing. On my way home, I stopped off at the butcher's and I just happened to catch him, so I got my local customers' meat. I also got my remote customers' meat, so got all the meat accounted for. We got just under 100 pounds of butternut squash, and because we got it in bulk, we got a nice bulk discount on it, so we got cheaper than sticker price. We were really bummed out that our garden didn't make it this year. We didn't get any butternut yield from it, but we waited, and I think we did okay with the price point that we got these at. Bad news, guys. That last fall pretty much did in this camera. This is the camera I use for all my video every day. And this screen is hanging by a thread. Something got messed up in the electronics in the screen too. It's no longer illuminating, it doesn't work anymore. And the lens won't retract anymore. This thing is pretty shot. The good news is I have this camera here, so it's not like I can't film anything anymore. It's big, clunky, expensive, and fragile, so I don't know exactly what our plan is yet for moving forward. Tomorrow we're gonna head into town, drop this off at the camera shop, and see how long it's gonna take for them to get this fixed and back to us. I'm guessing it's gonna be at least a week. Little buddy is here with me. We are going to do the naming of the blue copper Moran pullet. We got a lot of suggestions from you guys. Thank you to all of you who contributed. I'm gonna read off this list of names, and little buddy here is gonna decide which one is gonna be the name. So little buddy, you ready for me to read them to you?
Yeah.
Okay. We had several people suggest Penny. We had several suggestions for Bluey and several for Copper. Those were the top three. The next most frequent suggestion was bluebird. And then after that we had lady.
We're not picking that one.
No, we're not picking that one because that's Pop's dog's name. Henrietta, Ginger, Feathers, Biddy Boop, Lady Blue, Little Blue, Tiny Buddy, that's a good one, Mora, Quill, Ember, Thomas, as in Thomas the Blue Train. Then there's just Blue. Somebody suggested Daisy, of course, that's the sheep, the ewe, so I don't know, we're probably not going to go that direction, but this one was funny. Somebody said Blue Butt. That was good. Peoria Dude left a whole bunch of recommendations for names, some of which were the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs, but he also went on to suggest Sky, Lake, River, Ice, and Snowflake, all things that are blue or bluish in nature. So, little buddy, I read a lot of names. Did you get all of them?
I just got one.
Okay, so there's one you like?
Ice.
Ice! Ice was suggested by Peoria Dude, so thanks for the suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you everybody for the suggestions.
Can you say thank you, Peoria Dude?
Thank you for all we do.
Tomorrow we are continuing our quest for rabbit knowledge. We are heading over to the Shepherd Ranch again, where we got our pullets. John Shepherd's daughter raises rabbits for 4-H in the pet program, and she is going to spend some time with little buddy to show him the ropes with what he needs to know in order to raise rabbits. And these rabbits just so happen to also be for sale. So there is a potential that we will be acquiring rabbits as well. We'll have to figure that part out later. But what do you think about that, little buddy?
Good idea.